Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. This is funny. From the side of my view, I can see his eyebrows going crazy. Anyway, it's time for another episode of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is the train talk from milepost 141. And this is episode 52, which is season 3, episode 17. Yeah. So hope you guys are enjoying them out there, and we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll try to make these educational and fun. So how you been?
Pretty good, doing well.
Recovered from the shows?
Yes, I have. The Aleve is a wonderful thing, and so you can mix Aleve with Tylenol, folks. There's your medical tip for the day.
There you go.
They won't interact with each other; they work together in concert.
There you go.
So the show was great, but as we know, we talked about that. But recovered very well.
It's been great. So and the worst part for me was when we got back from the show, I was gone again in 3 days. For some stupid reason, I don't know why, I agreed to do play a hockey tournament down in Albuquerque the following weekend.
Right, wow.
So instead of being able to relax, recover, put my feet up and stare at the lighted box on the TV there.
Yeah, and, watching the Cubs or whatever.
Yeah, watch the little Rangers. They were on last night. I think as of this recording, they laid an egg. I started watching them. They were up 2-0, and then the little Halos came back, and I was like, well, so much for that. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. The Cubs, on the other hand, are hot. So Milwaukee, they're in your rearview mirror. They're right there on your bumper. So just letting you know, Brewer fans out there, no offense, but
there you go.
The Little Bears, beware the Little Bear. So
there you go. So, but anyway, on my trip, it was such a weird schedule because we ended up with our first game was at 9:15 p.m. So left here at 4 o'clock, ended up leaving 4:30. Went straight to the rink, and got in there and got changed and ready to go. And now the problem with ice, our hockey here, is that we don't have any ice from April till like either the beginning of October or the last week of September. Just depends on the season and what it's looking like. And so we're coming off the couch, so to speak.
Right.
First game wasn't so pretty.
Yeah. No sea legs or nothing.
No, just go out there cold turkey and just go out there and do it. And it was like, But my team ended up being, we lost 4-3. And yes, for those of you guys that don't know, I am the goalie. So that was 100% my fault. But the interesting thing was the ice was so bad when I would try to slide, the ice would grip my leg. Like I couldn't move, and the whole body would then momentum do this, and then they just shoot it off the inside of my leg because I'm off balance because I couldn't move.
Right. Wow.
So it was brutal. It was bad. Everybody was complaining. And what was funny is everybody on the team was like, nope, we don't count that one. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, being cold for that long and not playing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't, I was thinking, wow, that's rough. Anyway, the odd part was the next day my game wasn't until 11 p.m. in the evening. So I had a whole day to kill down in Albuquerque.
Wow, yeah.
So I got up, met a friend of mine, Bill Moyers, and he went and took me. We went to go see the 2926, which is the big steam engine down in Albuquerque.
Wow.
You're seeing a couple pictures here on video. And then after that, well, I got time to kill, right? So I jumped on the New Mexico Rail Runner and rode that up to Santa Fe. And my friend Bill actually lives in Santa Fe, so he got back in his car and drove up to Santa Fe, met me up there. So I rode the train up to Santa Fe, pulled in and saw the absolute most beautiful locomotive I've ever seen in my life.
That's the one with
the dragon painted on the side. You guys are seeing it on the video right now.
He's being facetious about the most beautiful thing.
It's an interesting thing because it's the Santa Fe Southern Railway, and they used to have the red and yellow at Locomotive, but I guess the rumor was, or what I was told, was that the guy who did Game of Thrones actually bought that railroad and has this excursion line, and he painted it all up fantasy and color, and
that makes sense.
And now it's called the Sky Railway. Huh. Even though it's still listed as the Santa Fe Southern, they call it the Sky Railway, and you can get on and do excursions and everything. But so I didn't have time to ride that.
Well, when you're riding it, you don't really see the engine anyway.
Well, correct.
So you're just going to enjoy the scenery anyhow. So
yeah. So
that southwestern desert landscape, which is kind of neat too, and widely modeled.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So one of these days I'll go down and ride it probably. But anyway, we went and had lunch at Tomasitas, walked around Santa Fe rail yard area for a little bit, and then I picked up the rail runner and went back down. And I went past Albuquerque down to Belen, and it was almost like it was perfect timing because we pulled in. I looked out the window. Of course, any of you guys are familiar with that Belen station. You're right next to the East-West Transcon for the BNSF, and that's just a little bit north of where that rail camera is. So I'm like, oh, wow, okay, might as well. So anyway, we pull in, I look out, and sure enough, there's an engine, ditch lights on, so I know, okay, he's getting ready to go. So I get off the train quickly, run out, and get a video, and you can see the short clip of the video here being played. And it was like just perfect timing. Saw that. And the problem was we only had 20-minute layover. 20 minutes and we're out of there again. So I didn't really get much time to walk anywhere or do anything. So got in, watched that train go by, and I looked, and there was nothing left on the platforms. There was nothing coming in. And from where our vantage point was, I couldn't see any of the signals. So I was like, well, whatever. Anyway, so got back on and rode back up to where my car had been parked.
Right.
Got in, had dinner, and then went and played my game at 11. And that was a whole different game. We won 5-0.
Oh wow!
So it was a little bit different.
George had his sea legs on that game. Nobody got nothing.
He had sea legs on that.
You'll get a goose egg and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You'll like that.
There you go. So then the problem was you play at 11 o'clock, and of course by that time the tournament games are running about 15 minutes behind.
Right.
So I got to my car, I think it was like 12:30, 12:45, and then went back to the hotel and crashed. And we had a 1:30 game the next day. We ended up winning that one. Technically 2-1 in a shootout.
Right.
It was what tie. It was 1-0. He scored a beautiful goal. I was like, yeah, there's nothing I could have done about that.
And the goalie, stingy again though. One. That's pretty.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome in the hockey. I mean, you obviously don't want to like 10-9. That'd be a crazy game.
Yeah, it's hard to hit a goalie on those days.
Yeah, to say, it'd be like people were like, "What's wrong with you, man?
You can't see the thing.
This isn't softball. What's going on?"
We won that one in a shootout and gave up no goals in the shootout, just the one.
Right.
But my team tied it up with 5 seconds left in the game.
Oh wow, it's clutch.
And so it was like, okay, great. And then we went, and then immediately went to shootouts, and we won. Basically, it was 1-0 in the shootouts after 3 rounds. We scored the last one, and they didn't score any, so we won, and that somehow put us in the final.
And then
and I have no idea. And then we won that one. Basically, it was officially 2-0.
Yeah,
we had a goal awarded because it was 1-0. They were pushing. And my guys got it behind them and was going towards the empty net and got tripped. So they awarded the second goal with like 2 seconds left in the game. So it was inconsequential. We won 1-0. So we won the tournament. You guys are on video or seeing some of the pictures of the aftermath of my team. And we got a cool hat that I was going to bring today, and I kind of left it at home. But
well, see, that first game was just like a spring training game.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't really a big, or in this case, like a fall training or whatever it is, or a preseason game.
Yeah.
And then he got serious, folks. That's when he's like, okay, that's it. There's your mulligan. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how we made the final, but we did. But they counted us in, and I think it had something to do with the fact that we beat the other team 2-1 in that shootout.
Right.
That was for the chance to go. So
it wasn't
to the final.
like double elimination or anything like that.
No, it was. You play 3 games, and some teams play 4, which is again why I didn't understand how we were there.
Yeah.
Because it's based in Albuquerque and it's at their outpost, and there's Santa Fe teams and Albuquerque teams which are local, and then we drive down 3.5 hours to get down there.
Well, to me, that's awesome that you guys, like I said, you ended up in the final and won the whole thing.
And we won the whole thing. We got to carry around the little belt, as you guys see in the video, and we got hats, and then we got a banner that we got to keep.
That's great. That's congratulations.
Cool. So that was fun. But, so it was a fun trip. Got to see some trains, got to do some rail fanning. And
and then got to do like your other thing you do and do it well.
Yeah, and do hockey, and it was fun. So. But that kind of leads us to the fact that we have an empty table.
Yes.
With the travel between my vacation, with train shows that we did, and then the hockey tournament. And when we got back from the national show, I basically had 3 evenings at home. One of them, I had a group of guys from Australia come visit the home layout, and I'm showing you the picture of them right now.
Right.
And then Thursday night I had a dinner meeting, and so then it was like Friday driving down, so no time to get anything done in between all that, and still playing catch up.
Yeah, I'm just old, and I come back from the show and I was tired, and I kind of took a break from the stuff. I worked on some stuff for like the last one I had with Richard's engine. I continue working on his massive fleet of engines. Yeah, which those are good installs. But for as my projects, they're setting aside right now till I finish that stuff. So
I got a couple for some friends of mine. I tell you what, it's easy to get roped into it when people throw money at your face.
Yes, it is, and like I said, I enjoy it. I know George enjoys it too. That's one of the things about the hobby. I've always enjoyed the construction phase of it, or the building, the painting, and all that stuff too. But this also the electronics part of it. It's really nice to put something together. And then have it, a nice, neat assembly there, and to show people and stuff like that. So I'll put stuff on my Facebook page when I do finish it. So I actually do finish things. It's just not my own stuff. I used to just crank them out left and right, but for the last 3 years or so, I've been working pretty much nonstop for other folks and their projects. So
and I know the house you're in right now doesn't give you much room for layout expansion.
No, I've been toying with that idea too. I've been looking at battery power, Blunami battery power, talking to Neil Stanton, and looking at those things from his website, and because I'm still intrigued with that. The idea, because I move, because I rent rather, and a layout with no wires on foam would be kind of nice to have, where you don't have to worry about the track or nothing like that. Just charge your engines up and then run them with your app, and that's really all you have to have. I mean, to me, it's just almost wanting to just do it to say, okay, it does work great. Yeah. We could set that thing on the table here and run it across. Of course, if I had something, but we could run it right across the table with the Blunami and the battery.
I didn't think about it, but I've got my C19, my battery-powered C19 in my office over there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been on the show before recently. And George, the idea there, so that's something I'm looking at too. And I'm also, of course, those of you that follow me, know me on Facebook, they see I'm not switching to Conrail completely, but I've looked at Conrail in Southern Illinois also, because it's always been something I've always liked too, the old Cairo branch, and I've been eyeballing that again, as you can see if you follow me on Facebook or you're friends with me on Facebook.
Yeah, so there you go. Well, since we're a bunch of slackers, let's talk about Tech Tip.
Okay.
Let's get into... So this keeps coming up, and so want to kind of bring it up again. So if we're not trying to repeat ourselves, but we're trying to make sure the information gets out there. One of the hardest parts of model railroading, and everybody can pretty much attest to this, there's no real class per se that teaches you every aspect of it. As a modeler, you have to learn to build bench work. You have to, and that's using power tools, woodworking, stuff like that. Then you have to learn how to lay track. You have to learn how to wire the track, or unless you're going battery. Right. You have to learn how to build a model, paint the model, decal the model. Right. You have to learn how to do scenery. How do you create mountains? How do you build a tree? And how do you put building kits together? And how do you lay it all out? So there's a lot of different skills. But one of the big ones that keeps coming back with, and it comes back to nobody's really taught how to do decoder installations. Now, those of you who watch our YouTube channel are a little bit more educated when it comes to that.
Right.
But it keeps coming up because there's no official soldering class when it comes to just the common household.
Right.
Some people do pipe work, so they'll use a soldering gun or a torch to do pipe work and stuff like that. Do not do that with your decoders.
Right.
And so this has come up again where it always has to do with your correct temperature, the correct materials, and having the correct technique. And these are just some of the aspects of it. And so, I know you were talking to somebody recently about the type of flux.
We got a decoder in for repair. The customer stated he could not program it, would not read the decoder on the NCE, of course, or Decoder Pro. And when I got it here, I was testing it, and I could not get it to read on the NCE power cab. Here, we sent it downstairs to the tech. She Jody cleaned off the solder tabs on a plug-and-play 8-board Tsunami 2, and then sent it back up, and, of course, we could read it, program it, it ran perfectly. So the solder on it was impeding the ability, even from our testers here, which are, made for each specific decoder,
right?
Could not read the decoder because it couldn't get through the solder.
Yeah, was it the solder or was it the flux or all the above?
All the above.
Okay, so you clean the excess solder
Cleaned everything off.
And then to clean it, you can use a toothbrush with rubbing alcohol, and that'll help clear off some of the excess flux that might flow on.
Right.
Things like that. So it's always funny. You always hear the bigger the blob, the better the job. No, please don't keep that in mind.
And this thing had blobs. I mean, it did. And like I said, we cleaned it off. It works great. I was able to program it. I programmed several addresses, long and short addresses. I programmed, some CV settings, changed some of the, even set up the dynamic digital exhauster. Just seeing if I could read it, just give it a value and read it. And I was able to read all the way through all the CV, all the way through all of the indexes and everything. So, use the correct solder and the correct flux. Do not use TIX, T-I-X flux, for soldering to electronics. That is for brass, locomotives, engines, cabooses, etc. That's used for. It's not used for electronics. It will damage the solder pads.
And the scary part is that I've actually been to stores where they have the TICs stored next to the decoders.
Right.
And as soon as I see that, I grab them off the shelf and I take them up to the store owner and I say, do not put this next to the decoders. You're going to set them up for failure.
Right, because it will eat that stuff right off there and it's destroy your solder pads. And it's made to put two pieces of brass together is what it's made for.
Right. So when it comes to flux, one of the purposes of flux is that it flows on and it deoxidizes the surface. And to do that, it has to kind of etch the surface and there is some acidic content to it. But the TIX is also trying to cut through, let's say, any tarnish or any discoloration of the brass or any oils or greases, and so it has to be a higher content of acid to get through that to clean that surface off.
Right.
But when we're talking about microelectronics, that high content of acid, one of the most common ones is zinc chloride. What happens is if you have that zinc chloride in your flux and it flows onto the decoder, it starts attacking random components.
Right.
And if you look closely, one of the most common boards that we have that issue with is the P&P. And if you look at the P&P board, there's a couple of components there towards the front next to the headlight tabs and the wire tab, or for the track power tabs, and those are what read the DCC signal, so to speak, and those are usually the first ones attacked. So if you take your model and you put it on the programming track and it starts making noise, that's your red flag that, hey, something's not right.
Right.
So you can always try to clean it off yourself, get some rubbing alcohol and a toothbrush and clean it off and scrub it pretty good. Not so hard that you pull the parts off of it, but try to get any of that flux or anything like that off of there.
Right.
And try it again and see if that fixes the problem. Hopefully it is, but get that flux as far away from your decoders as you can because it's just sitting there ready to cause damage. And I'll say between flux and mismatched audio amplifier, those are the two biggest repairs that we ever have.
Right. It is. That's been like the last 2 weeks. It's been like that. Yeah. Amplifier repair. She's done a ton of amplifier repair.
Yeah.
So if it's rated for 2 watts, use a speaker rated for 2 watts and 8 ohms or more.
Yeah, or a collection of speakers.
Yes, actually 2 or 3. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
But make sure it's rated for when you get done with your speaker assembly, you at least have, if it's a 2-watt amp, make sure you have at least 2 watts of capacity there, and you won't have any problems at all. The decoder will run nice and smooth, nice and quiet, and nice and cool.
Yeah. And it's real common to think, and I've realized we were talking solder and flux, but we're kind of getting off topic a little bit, but that's fine. The mentality would be that I've got a decoder, so I'm putting this PNP into this, GP whatever.
Yep.
And, there's not a lot of space there. Well, I'll put this single cube in there. And they put one cube speaker, which is rated at 0.7 of a watt nominal, which means normal.
Right.
And then 1 watt peak, which is less than half. And then when they get it in, they say, oh, that's awful quiet. And they turn it up.
Right.
Now pumping 2 watts through that 1 watt limited speaker.
Right.
And something goes wrong. So always, always, always try to put more speakers in there than you think you need, because it's much like staging, right?
Right.
You put more in there because then you can get better sound.
Never have enough staging, never have enough speakers. I mean, really, I agree with that. I always try to put at least 2 in a series, and you won't have any problems at all. It gives you, if you have 2 8-ohm speakers at 16 ohms, and you got, let's say you got a scale sound system speaker, 1.5 watt to 2 watt max, or peak. And then I always use that 810154 SoundTraxx mini cube with the baffle in concert with that, and it's an awesome setup. It sounds great, gives you that sound you want, and you can if you want to turn it up, you can, because you'll have 2.5 watts. You got
absolutely.
And they come out of the package. I think it's a 192.
Yeah, 192,
which is like what 3/4 of the full volume. Yep. So you're got it. Decent volume right out of the package from all the aftermarket stuff that we sell, aftermarket decoders rather. So pay attention to that too. But correct solder, rosin-core solder, quick chip SDK. Is that
SKD. Chip Quik. The flux that I always recommend, it's easily accessible. You can get it on Amazon, Digikey, whatever.
Yep.
It's Chip Quik, CHIPQUIK, SMD291NL.
Right.
And it comes in a syringe, and therefore you can put just a little bit. You can control how much you're putting on there. And again, it's not, you don't want to put more on there. You just put enough to cover the tab, cover the joint, and then same with your solder. You put your solder on the end of the iron, you touch it there, the flux draws it off the iron and into the joint, and as long as you apply heat to both surfaces, that flux or that solder will flow right onto there and create a perfect solder joint every time.
Georgie had that on a video, I think a year or so ago.
No, this was several years ago.
Yeah, I've been using it ever since. I saw him using it, so that's what I've been buying. I buy mine from Digikey.
The Chip Quik, yeah.
He had it on a video, a SoundTraxx video of an installation. It's been a little while back, but anyway, I've been using it ever since. And I tell you what, just like you said, it comes in a syringe. It's perfect. Yeah, and you can get just the right amount of flux on there, and you're off and running.
So for more information, learning about soldering, because to go back to the first comment, there's no real class.
No.
Well, SoundTraxx has a lot of classes on our website that are in the webinar series.
Right.
Teaches you how to use the Tsunami decoders, the Tsunami 2 decoders, how to do a lot of the stuff. For example, there's one of them, what is DCC and how does it work? So when you understand the fundamentals of it, you become less fearful of it. But anyway, getting back to the point is webinar 8 is actually a soldering class. It's about a 40-minute soldering class.
Right.
And you can save it, watch it, go back and grab some scrap stuff. Like if you've taken a circuit board out and you're a model railroader and you keep it because you think, I might need that sometime. Use that for practicing your soldering techniques and get used to using your soldering iron. So that way when you do the expensive decoders, now you have that better skill set. But webinar 8, so if you go to youtube.com, search SoundTraxx webinar 8, it'll pull right up SoundTraxx tips for successful soldering, and watch that video and take that all to heart, because our technicians downstairs, every 2 to 3 years, I should say, we're behind right now. They go through a certification soldering class, and we have professionals that come in here from industry and things like that basically teach us the medical grade type soldering techniques that need to be for medical work, for big machines and things like that. And obviously what we're doing doesn't need to be that precise,
right?
But you'd want to learn the proper way to do it.
Right.
And that video is taught from those classes that our technicians go through in the certifications. So this way you can be successful with your soldering every time.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a great idea too.
Yeah. So be sure to watch that and practice. Like I said, components are cheap. You can get resistors for like, what is it, $1,000 for $1 or something like that. It seems
ridiculously cheap. You'll never run out of them. you can become a resistor mogul. I mean,
there you go.
I mean, with very little money spent.
Mm-hmm. So experiment with it, play with it, practice, and you'll be surprised how much you can get. And again, if you have any questions, we're a phone call or an email away.
Right.
Well, almost.
Right.
I'll go ahead and let you share some news with us.
Well, I tell you, I've enjoyed it here at SoundTraxx a little over a year here working with George. I've known George for a while. Like I said, fellow Missouri Pacific modeler. This will be my last podcast, and I've enjoyed working here with the folks here, Nancy and all the gang here. I am going to return to Illinois and return to full retirement and take care of some medical issues that I need to take care of. That's I've been. Those of you who really know me know what I go through, and it's better for me to go back to the Midwest and take care of it there, where people have taken care of me for years, and that's what I'm going to do. So,
yeah, it's unfortunate. He'll be leaving, but hey, like I said, it's been a fun time having you here.
Yep.
And it's been mutual learning, right? I've
Likewise.
given you a lot of the decoder side of it and operations and things like that you'll take with you and implement in your railroad.
Right.
And then some of the conversations of learning some of the things like, there's a lot of like Mopac details and things like that, like specific parts of it. Like, for example, I know we were talking, I'm starting to work on one of the Spartan cabs, one of the EMD cabs on the GE. I had no idea there was a box behind there for the electrical cabinet. Right. So now I got to go back and slightly redesign it. Luckily, I haven't painted it yet. But
yeah, unfortunately, I guess they're all a little different because they kind of scratch built those with steel.
Yeah, it makes sense
to put on top of the EMD cab. But and likewise, I mean, the decoder. I get questions all the time from both friends and people at shows and stuff. A lot of folks have just touched the tip of the iceberg of what the Tsunami 2 can do. They're amazed, like when we talk about the dead band. Why don't you make this run like decoder ABC or whatever? Well, you can. It's called CV216. You can set your decoder up to start moving at speed step 5 or whatever speed step you want, or the auto bell. CV198, the auto bell. I mean, those are those things, and I can still, those of you who know me, and you know me on Facebook, and you know my website and that kind of stuff, you can always get a hold of me. And of course, those of you who have direct contact, of course, you know how to get a hold of me too. So
yep. So the search begins for another support person to take Tom's place. He will be greatly missed. If you guys have any desire to do that work, reach out to us at hr@soundtraxx.com. And in the meantime, I'll be taking over the support role and help answer any of you guys' questions in the meantime. So we appreciate all of that, and I'll do my best to keep up with the great service that he's been offering.
Appreciate that, George. But I learned pretty much all of it from him.
So anyway, with that,
he's the one I called before I worked here.
That is very true.
Yes.
And now I hope I don't hear from you for questions on decoders.
There should be no excuse for calling.
No excuse.
There's no excuse to call in and ask any tech questions at all. So
you want to call? Let's talk models. Let's not talk decoders.
Right. That's it. Yeah. Hey, what do you think about that SD40? That kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's coming up really quick.
Yes, it is.
We'll leave it at that. Well, guys, that's everything we got for you. It sucks. We hate to see him go, but we understand and wish him all the luck and best in everything going on. And we look forward to seeing how his modeling's coming because, as we mentioned in the rental place, you didn't really have a place to build a layout. This one's got a basement, so I'll be able to put the Joppa sub back together and run it. I've got some really neat stuff that I've 3D printed and stuff like bridge trestles that are actually off the scale drawings and stuff like that I can do. Those kind of things. So those of you guys that follow me, joppasub.com, the website, you'll see the pictures of it. Everybody will see that stuff as I put it in place and put it in operation. So good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Wish you well. And with that, we'll go ahead and close it out. Not much else to say other than thanks for watching. Hope this has been enjoyable for you guys. And if you want to leave any well wishes for Tom, you can leave them in the comments down below. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time on the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is Train Talk from Milepost 141. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.